What up, guys? This is
Cheevo, guys!
Back here again with another video. Today, we're going to be playing Super Meat Boy Forever.
This is Meat Boy. This is Bandage Girl. And this, well, this is Nugget. Their little bundle of joy. Aww. This is Dr. Fetus. He's not a real doctor. Wow. One day, while our heroes were enjoying life, Dr. Fetus attacked them! And kidnapped Nugget! When our heroes came to, and couldn't find Nugget, they knew what they had to do.
Now, this game released as a time exclusive on the Epic Game Store on PC as well as Switch on December 23rd. However, it's supposed to release on Xbox, PlayStation, as well as Android a month later, which that would be, January 23rd or so. Now, I'm actually a huge fan of the original Super Meat Boy. I really can't believe it came out 10 years ago. It came out on the Xbox Live Arcade for those that aren't familiar. This game is known for being a super hardcore platformer. Personally, I feel like Super Meat Boy and N+ are some of the hardest platformers out there. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to be playing the Nintendo Switch version. It plays at 1080p and it's locked at 60 frames per second. Now, as you can see, before you start your game, it gives you an opportunity to enter in a seed, and this is because the levels are randomly generated. So there's different chunks of the level, and basically these chunks or pieces of the level are shuffled and randomized, so everybody plays a different level. However, if you wanted to play the same level as me, you can enter in the same seed and you'll experience the same level. I'll explain more about this in a second, but let's go ahead and get started. Now, the game actually has 6 worlds. Only 4 of them are shown to you initially, and you end up unlocking the last world after the 4th one, and then once you complete the game, I believe it unlocks 1 extra world that has ultra hard levels. On top of that, each level has a dark world version. So yeah, basically you have a duplicate version of each level, but it's the Dark World version, which is obviously much harder. And again, you can't unlock that unless you get the record time for that level. So we're gonna go ahead and start up the first level. At first, you have 2 characters unlocked. You have Meat Boy and Bandage Girl. We're gonna go ahead and select Meat Boy. Now, first thing you're gonna notice is that this is actually not a true sequel to Super Meat Boy. This game is actually an auto-runner game, and that's because initially it was announced as a mobile platform exclusive, meaning that it was going to be a phone game and not released on consoles. And as you can imagine, a lot of these phone games are auto-runners, so that's why it has this mechanic. So basically, in the first game you were able to control Meat Boy, however, in Super Meat Boy Forever, you do not control him. For the most part, the controls only involve jumping, punching, and sliding. Now, for me, this was a little bit of a letdown because I was really looking for that true sequel to Super Meat Boy. On the other side of that though, this game did end up growing on me. Even though it has the auto run mechanic, it ends up being its own game, and it's still a really good game. And at the core of it, the thing that matters most is that it's still super difficult. This is going to make you want to throw your controller. You're definitely going to need to take some breaks because this game gets you heated. Again, the original Super Meat Boy released 10 years ago. They actually announced Super Meat Boy Forever in 2014, so it's been 6 years since this game was announced. That's quite a long time to develop an indie game. But again, this game is a cult classic for a lot of people, so I definitely think they wanted to make sure that they were going to get it done right and that it was true to the original. The thing is that it's only semi-true to the original when you change up the whole mechanic of the game. So I'd say it's a 50-50 in terms of if it's true to the original game or not. It is in terms of the artwork and the style and the difficulty. However, in terms of the gameplay mechanics, it's not so much. Now, I know you guys are probably wondering, are you going to end up releasing achievement guides for this game once the Xbox and PlayStation versions are released? And the answer is more than likely yes. I do plan to, because again, this is one of my favorite games of all time, and even though it's really difficult, I want to make sure I get some guides out there for you guys, because there are collectibles in the game, so more than likely you are going to need a collectible guide. The only thing about the collectible guides is, as I mentioned earlier in this video, the levels are randomized, so for you to have the collectibles in the same location as I do in my video, you would have to enter in the same seed as I do, so that way you're playing the exact same levels. Now, besides that, I can imagine the achievements are going to require you to unlock all of the characters, which is going to require an S rank on all of the levels, even the Dark World levels. And on top of that, you need to play the glitched levels, and you need to also collect all of the pacifiers. You basically gotta 100% this game in effort to unlock all of the characters, and more than likely unlock all of the achievements or that platinum trophy. Now, I ended up realizing that the deaths, or every time that you die, it does not affect your time on a level. So as you realize, when I die, it does not increase the time that I'm taking to play the level, which is really cool, because then it's really just about the path and the shortcuts that you take to complete a level, rather than focusing on trying to complete it without dying or without any errors. Basically, you can more so focus on what path you take and trying to take certain shortcuts in effort to get a quicker time. So again, if you're going for that record time on the upper left hand side of the screen, if you want to unlock the Dark World version of a level, just keep in mind that the deaths do not go against your time. I can imagine this is going to make it a lot easier to get those record times, because if it did count your deaths against your time, this would be way harder. Now, personally, I ended up playing the first world, which was 6 levels plus the boss battle, 7 levels total, and I didn't end up getting the record time for any of them. So I wouldn't say that they're easy, nor that you would get them naturally while playing the game. If this is something that you want to accomplish, more than likely you're going to have to focus on it. What I'll probably end up doing is releasing video guides for each of the levels to get record time on each of them. However, for you to play the same levels that I'm playing in my video guide, you would have to enter in the seed, which is basically the password that enables you to get the same version of the level that I'm playing, and that way all of the guides match up for you, and you can go ahead and get some record times as well as the collectibles, and maybe even find the glitch levels as well. There's honestly a ton of videos that I could release for this game. I could also release a video showing how to unlock each of the characters, things like that. So more than likely there's a lot more Super Meat Boy Forever content on the way, because again, I do plan on 100%ing this game, even though it's super difficult. Even though it was a timed exclusive for Epic and the Switch, I decided to go ahead and pick up the Switch version because I wanted to dive into it early and maybe get a head start on some guides. But yeah, more than anything, the thing that caught me off guard was the auto run mechanic in this game. I mean, I literally purchased it for the $19.99 thinking that I was going to get a true sequel to Super Meat Boy, and boy was I surprised when I found out that I didn't actually control Meat Boy, nor his momentum or speed. It definitely mixes things up. If you tend to play a lot of auto runner games on, your mobile platform of your choice, whether it's iPhone or Android, you may be really good at this game. You may be even better than you would be at the regular Super Meat Boy game if you have auto runner experience. It's still crazy to me that this game was announced 6 years ago. That's quite a long time to develop what would have been a mobile game. I gotta say though, I'm just really happy that it's coming to Xbox and PlayStation. I wasn't too big of a fan of the timed exclusivity on the Switch and Epic Game Store, but it is what it is. At least it's a timed exclusive and not a forever exclusive. Now, so far we're on the 4th level. I'm going to be running you guys through the first 6 levels as well as the first boss battle, so 7 levels total. That's basically running you guys through the gameplay of the first world. It's going to take about 15 minutes or so you got about 6 more minutes in this video to run through the next 3 levels. I ended up deciding to edit out any double deaths, so you'll find that I die once multiple times in this video, but there were instances where I died 10 plus times on particular areas of these levels. I just didn't want to bore you guys with multiple deaths, so if I died once, I kept that in there, but I edited out any multiple deaths after that, in effort to make this video more quick and to the point, and that way you guys can kind of watch the full level and experience without just watching me die 10 plus times in a row. I do want to mention, I like the story that they introduced when you started up the game, showing how they had a child, Nugget, which is supposed to be like the baby Super Meat Boy, Anyhow, Nugget gets kidnapped by Dr. Fetus, and personally, as you guys may know, I just had a baby boy, so seeing Nugget get kidnapped, I was like, oh hell no, man, I gotta help Meat Boy get his little Nugget back. Nah, but for real though, I do gotta give a shout out to the animation in the game. One of the first things I noticed about the new Super Meat Boy Forever game is that it has high quality animation for the cutscenes. You're gonna find that there's cutscenes in between the worlds and at the start of the game. I wanna say that these cutscenes feel really new. I don't think that the original Super Meat Boy had cutscenes like this. They tend to feel almost like a cartoon, they're that high quality. So shouts out to whoever animated those cutscenes. Personally, I'm a graphic designer and I have dabbled in animation, so I know how much work it takes to create animations that clean. A lot of work went into something like that, so mad respect. Now, right now we're playing the 5th level in the first world. There's going to be one more level after this, level 6, and after that we'll finally get to experience our first boss battle. I can imagine these boss battles are going to be super difficult and really epic, so I'm super excited to dive into that. Another cool thing I noticed in terms of getting the record time, so on the upper left hand side of the screen you're going to notice 3 numbers. The number on the right, that's standing still, the one that says 1 minute 4 seconds, that is the time that you want to beat. If you can beat this record, you're going to be able to unlock the Dark World version of the level that you're playing. Now, the time on the very upper left-hand side, the time that is continuing to advance, that is the timer or clock for your run. Below that, you're going to see a red number or a green number. This will show you if you're on track to beat the record or not. So, as you can see, right now it's saying I'm behind like 25 seconds compared to where I should be in effort to beat this level in record time. So yeah, as far as I know, if you're looking to 100% this game, I believe you would have to get the record time on each of the levels. You would have to end up getting an S rank on each of the levels. You would have to collect all of the collectibles, which are the pacifiers. You would have to complete the Dark World version of each level, as well as complete all of the glitched levels. If you can accomplish all of those things I just mentioned, I believe you would get 100% in the game. So yeah, this game has a ton of content. You can literally probably put 40 to 60 hours in this game, depending on your skill of course. Some people may end up putting over 100 hours depending on, how good you are at the game. Because believe me when I say, this game is savage. It tries to come off all cute, but this game is definitely savage. Like I said, it's gonna make you want to throw your controller, but just try to contain yourself because we all know these controllers are not cheap. So, I found myself on level 6 in the first world. After I complete this level, we should be experiencing our first boss battle. A quick fun fact I actually read about the developers of this game. They actually contacted Nintendo trying to get Super Meat Boy inside of Super Smash Bros, but they ended up being declined. Personally, I felt that this was a good idea. I think that he is well known enough to be in Super Smash Bros. At least put him as a skin for a Mii fighter. You can tell they really wanted Super Meat Boy in a Smash Bros style game like this because there's actually a Smash Bros clone on PC and I think it's eventually coming to Switch. It's called Indie Pogo and they actually just added Super Meat Boy as a fighter in that game. And again, that's a Super Smash Bros clone. I also want to say that he made a cameo appearance in The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. It was pretty crazy for a while. We've seen Super Meat Boy in more games in the last few years than we've seen in his own games, just because Super Meat Boy Forever got delayed like 2 or 3 times at least. Again, the game was officially announced back in 2014. Well, I guess it's officially 2021 now, so technically that'd be 7 years ago, at least for the Xbox and PlayStation versions. Another thing I've always liked about Super Meat Boy is that it tries to pull off a gory aesthetic without being gory, because ultimately our character is a piece of meat that's dripping sauce everywhere, but it tries to make it feel like it's bloody, almost like the game is gory, but it's not. For example, after you die, you're going to find blood or sauce all over the saw blades, which makes it appear that you got brutally murdered, but you really didn't. So yeah, the game is actually rated T14, but it feels much more gory than it actually is. once again, the animation and these little cartoon cutscenes are super on point. Mad respect to the animators that put this together. So this is our first boss battle. It's our first battle with Dr. Fetus, and it looks like what we have to do is destroy these buttons. He's basically driving some sort of mech with these big chainsaws on the sides, and what we have to do is keep punching these buttons in effort to break them or have them blow up. But it looks like I'm going to have to jump right off of them because he attacks you once you're punching those buttons nearly right away. So I'm going to jump down, break this one, see if I can make my way back up. And I literally barely made that jump. I almost got ran over by the steamroller. I think that's a steamroller. It has spikes on it though. Let's see, just one more button. And there we go. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up the gameplay of the first world in the brand new Super Meat Boy Forever game. As you can see, I died 14 times in the first level, 138 times in the second, 30 times in the third, 47 in the fourth, 39 in the fifth, and you guys get it. I died a lot of times, but I ended up completing it. Now, when you're on the map, you can press X to switch to the Dark World. As you can see, unfortunately, I didn't get the record time on any of the first 6 levels. However, if I did, it would let me play it. So that pretty much covers everything that you guys need to know in terms of diving into Super Meat Boy Forever. Let me know what you guys think about all of the changes in the new game down in the comments below. And also keep an eye out for my achievement and trophy guides related to Super Meat Boy Forever because those are coming soon. Other than that, I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of my Patreon subscribers. We just hit 21 patrons. I'd like to give a special shout out to everybody in the biggest fan club, including Tim G84, AOJ, Blackbird, and Kegger101. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe.